Let's do this.
Welcome back, family. Timo Hana here. I'm your host, Rich, and we're going to be breaking down the top 20 cover price books for the week ending June 20. I don't even know what day it is. 4th? Yes, June 24th, 2024. A little tired, a little out of it, and I'm not going to be buying any comic books for a little while. Had a little bit of a fun day. Yeah, the last couple of days, we have 3 dogs, and one of them being a Great Dane. Great Danes are prone to getting little sores and calluses on their knees and uh, sometimes their hips because they're just so massive when they go plopping down in the grass or somewhere. And our boy has had a spot on his knee for a couple months. It just almost looks like a pad on his knee. It's been there. I've seen it on other dogs, but on Thursday, actually, I saw it starting to swell up a little bit. So I put a little Neosporin. Friday, he's licking it a little bit. I'm like, what the heck? Why did it swell up? Don't know. Still don't really know. Last night, it's really swells up and it's infected. It's actually like oozing. Today, we had to take the day off, take him to the vet. You can see which his entire leg swelled up. So yeah, poor baby. He's out like a light right now on the couch, and they think that he just had maybe he got a bite from something, and he's on antibiotics and anti-inflammatories and painkillers, and they had to sedate him for an X-ray to make sure it didn't get to the bone. And he's out of it. But now he's resting, and I'm out of it. And by the way, he's also where he's resting is where I normally sleep, but I don't have the heart to move him. So I have to get a sleeping bag after this. Yeah, but I mean, if you like to say a little prayer for dogs or anything, say one for mine. So hopefully he'll recover pretty soon. Of course, the other dogs are just like, how come he gets the couch, man? Come on, man. Anyway, we're going to be getting into the top 20 list, and I see a few new books, a couple books that have come back onto the list again, and books that, due to upcoming projects, we know why they're here. So a little bit something different. We're going to talk about whether it's a good idea to look into buying it now. Thank you, Stinker Buns. I really appreciate that. He said, let's go, family. And Robert also said, good evening, Richard, my fellow coconuts. Good evening to you, too, sir. By the way, driving around in Georgia heat in a car with no AC today, and all I kept hearing was Robert's comments, only Rich would start growing a beer in the summer. Yeah, I'm just going to jump right into this list. And after we go through the list and decide discuss whether we think each one is a good time to buy, good time to wait, or just ignore the book completely. I'm going to try and give you a gun to the head pick at the end, which one I think is your best. If you had to purchase one out of the 20 at current prices, which one would be your best bet to either have the potential to make some money or at least lose the least amount? How about that? And then the rubber band to the butt pick, which in my opinion is the worst investment of the week. So let's just jump right into this list. We have the Amazing Spider-Man issue 257 facsimile 1 in 25 variant. I'm sorry, I am not a fan of variants for a facsimile. How do you have it's a non-reprint reprint. It's a contradiction in terms. And this seems to be the new thing now, and I don't like it. That plus it's not bad. It's not great, but it's not bad. This is a reprint of the first appearance of the third Hobgoblin, Ned Leeds. And it's a 1 in 25 ratio. And it's last sold for $50. High price, $75. Well, now I can see that they probably didn't have. I don't know if stores would have been ordering 25 copies of this facsimile. It's not the most popular. I mean, if it was a facsimile for 252 or 300, I could see that. But the facsimile for 257, I don't think that would have been a real high order priority for stores. And in the past, I don't think that the ratio variants, if there have ever been any for facsimiles, were a priority either. So this may actually have a pretty low print run. but I still, even if it had a low print run, doesn't mean it's going to be in demand. So I think 50 is still high for that. I'd be more at, honestly, I wouldn't even try. If I saw it for 30, I probably wouldn't be interested in it because I just don't support it. I don't think it's going to have a value of more than 25 to 30 in a year from now. I don't. I think you'd be struggling to sell this for 25 in a year. That's my gut opinion. Moving up to number 19, we're getting some, like more information or more anxiety, looking forward to whatever you want to say for the Daredevil series, which is going to be a two, instead of one 18 episode season. I think it's breaking it up into two 9 episode arcs. If they're going to publish them a year apart, a month apart, I don't know. But we do know that John Bernthal has signed on. And he has stated before this that he would only reprise his role as Daredevil, as Punisher, if the writing was staying true to the way they did it on Netflix, which honestly, that was the right way to do it. It's Punisher. And the fact that he's signed on for it really gives us a lot of hope that we're going to be getting a good quality Daredevil Punisher. And this is the first time Daredevil and Punisher squared off against each other back in 1982. Uh, Frank Miller art, if I'm not mistaken, also back then. And it's a great book to get signed too, because that yellow right in here, you get one of his good red signatures right there with that swirl of his that would fit in nicely. Well, we've got 9.8 selling for $168 and 9.6 for 60, and high grade raws, most recent one being near mint at 25. This is a book from 1982. Highest known value was in 2022, $580 for a 9.8. Now it's 168. This is kind of an iconic cover. I wouldn't think that buying that for 168 for a 9.8, that's actually a good price. And there is a newsstand version of this too. So um, we're talking about 1982. There were more newsstands than there were direct sale, but in the long run, the direct sale ones are going to have a much higher percentage of high graded books. There you go. Yeah, I wouldn't be against spending 170 on that in a 9.8. Remember, this is a 42-year-old book now. And we haven't gotten officially leaked photographs or anything yet. So that's going to cause this to spike. And you can see 184 over here getting ready for it. That's also on this list. So moving up the next one on the list here, we've got Doom issue number 1, the George Perez variant. And I guess this had to be some sort of a um, archived photo that they published. Hopefully, they gave the estate of George Perez a good chunk, because he hasn't drawn anything new. R.I.P. Let's see. We now on this variance we're selling for 15, 10 for near mints, but 9.8s are selling for 42 on the 20th. Okay, well, you know what? Before I go spending $15 on a near mint plus, and then submit it for grading, and pay shipping back and forth, I will actually save money and get the guaranteed 9.8 for 42. I'd take that 42 for that, but I think this book is a one shot. The fact that it's still on the list is actually very amazing. It's over a month already, and I think this book, all copies of this book, are going to slowly start to calm down a little bit. But as soon as we get like a casting information for Doom, or anything to do with the Fantastic Four going forward, these copies are going to go up again. Now the cover A is your, of course, Grail book to get, but it's so muddled with the colors that a book like this, when they announce who the actor is going to be, if they have any kind of a signing event, this is a great book to get signed. Look at all this open space here, this monotone area to have signed. That would work really nice. All right. Oops, didn't mean to close that like a ding dong. Let's get it back, shall we? And we move it back up over here. Went right there. because the next book on the list was Toxic Crusaders, number one. Help me out. Do we have some kind of a TV show in or movie that got broken because 1992 Toxic Crusaders number one. So I'm assuming this has got to do with Toxic Avenger. Yeah, it does because it says there's Toxic right there with the mop. Now this is really interesting. This is a book that I had never even seen before or heard of before, and we have 9.8 sales for $199, but Nearman Plus sales for 15. So you could literally buy 12 of these Nearman Pluses for less than the cost of one 9.8. Set them in for pre-screen and start selling them off, making a fortune. 199 is actually, I think that's overpriced. I really do. I think it's 199 because prior to this, nobody sent this book in for grading. Nobody cared about it. You know, there's only 3 on the census because only 3 people sent them in. It doesn't mean it's hard to get. But now that it's on the hot list, everybody's pulling these out of their collections and sending them in. Give it 2 months, you're going to see a flood of these on the market. So no, do not get this book right now. Marvel Comics presents number 72. This is the start of the Weapon X storyline. Every time something happens with Wolverine in the news, and you got him coming out in the movie, this book always pops up on the lists. It shoots up and then it just drops right back down in price. This is the Wolverine equivalent of Spawn. Actually, there's a couple of books like this, but this is one of the worst offenders, in my opinion. High value of this in 2021, this book was $995. Right now, fair market value of 9.8 is 178, and sales are going for 200, which is because you got Wolverine about to come out again. And after he leaves again, this book will settle back down again. You're going to be able to get him for like 160. So, yeah, don't spend 1,000, don't spend 200. Wait till after the movie and get it for your 160 price again. Or Near Mint Plus, which in beautiful condition for 38. That's not terrible either. So, next on the list, Toxic Avenger number one. I wish it was. I wish I bought it at this price. I was so excited about the fact that we were getting a reboot of the Toxic Avenger movie with, with stars, a well-known cast, but it never hit the movie theaters. This movie was like shown at a film festival and then just disappeared into the ether. So remember before that, Toxic Crusaders, $200 for a 9.8 1992 book. A 1991 book, 1 year earlier, older, is the first origin and ongoing series of the Toxic Avenger. This is also a double-sized book, if I remember correctly. I don't know if the Toxic Crusaders was, but look at the price. I think it was. But this one now, brace yourself, 104 for a 9.8. $600 was a high watermark in 2021. I did not pay 600. Paid a lot more than 104. Okay. And a lot of times I'm like, oh, I really wanted to get that book. I don't regret it. I regret this one because I bought this one hoping that it would go up and I'd feel good about it. But I wasn't in love with Toxic Avenger to say, yeah, I always wanted to get that in the collection, like the Godzilla book. My Godzilla number one, if that goes down in value a little bit, I don't mind because I always wanted a Godzilla number one. So if all of a sudden it drops half price, I'm like, I don't care. That's my book. I love it. This one, it bugs me because I wasn't that enamored with it. That being said, if they're getting $199 for Toxic Crusaders, I think that 104 for a 9.8 is a steal. Okay, a year ago, this was going for 300. So, and 45 for a 9.6? Really? Jeez. Yeah, keep an eye out for this book. A lot of dealers got these books and they got burned because of that movie. And you can really strike a deal because they would just like to get it out of their inventory, free up the cash to put it into something else. Next on the list, we have Daredevil 184. Remember, I told you before it was on here. This is the first team up of the Punisher and the Daredevil. Let's see, this was also a Miller book, and that's another iconic cover. So we've got 165 for a 9.8. Highest known value of 9.9 is 6,900. Oof, God, I feel so bad for people that went and spent thousands of thousands on these one copy 9.9s now that CGC is pushing more of them out. Going to devalue so many people's collections. It's really going to hurt the market. But 165 or 9.8, 42 for a 9.6. I would be going more for that 9.6 personally. They're also showing the direct sale variant, which was a lower print run, but more of them are in higher condition. I don't even remember what condition mine is. If it's a slab or a raw, I can't read. What did I say? Oh, it's a 9. Oh, I got excited. I thought I might have had a 9.8. Yeah, I think I just picked one up when I. Sometimes I find those early morning auctions. It might have been say $20 or something like that. And I just say, yeah, I always wanted to get it, and right now it's going for 38 to 40 for the 9.0. So it's not like I made a fortune on it. Yeah, this is. I think the other book is a better investment because that's the first time that they fight, and this is kind of like the second get together. The only thing that separates it is that now they're working together instead of fighting each other. But it's the first meeting, I think, that's more important. So I would say go after 183 before going after 184. But either book is a really great one. It's right in the middle of that Miller run, so they're all great stories. They're all gonna, they're gonna go up. If we get Elektra, then the 168 is gonna go up, and um, I'm still thinking Bullseye's gonna come back. It's too important a character to fight Daredevil that they're gonna. That I don't think they're gonna say let's get rid of him. Next on the list, first appearance of somebody. What's his name? Deadpool. Where have I heard that name before? Oh yeah, will be coming up very very soon. And this is like the worst time to possibly buy it, but greatest time to sell it. Actually, I think this book should already be starting to settle back down a little in price. Got a near mint that's just sold for 350, and the fair market on it is 409. But the 9.6 sold for 750. The 9.8 sold for 2275. What is this? The newsstand version? This is the newsstand version. Okay, I was going to say those prices seem kind of high. So 1991 newsstands were almost gone by this point. They maybe had say 10% of the market, and the 10% that they sold was maybe 20%. But they weren't in bags and boards and being taken care of. The people that really were interested in comic books and collecting for condition would go to a comic book store where you can make sure that from the time it came out of the box, it was taken care of. Because even the people selling it had a vested interest in condition. The people on a newsstand, they would just, you want something to read on the subway? Here, try this. Yeah, it's some weird art. Some guy can't drive feet. I don't know. So, yeah, the newsstand version. Do I think newsstands are going to have long-term investability? If I saw other things taking off, like Canadian price variants, I would say yes, but you have to be somebody, you're a collector specifically of books for newsstand. If you are your average collector, like me, I'm your average collector, and you're like, look, I just want to get a real nice quality copy of Deadpool #1. I want to see the book on the wall, and I'm not going to pay attention so much to see if it has a Spider-Man logo in the corner or or a scan code, a barcode. I'm going to try and save, $1,500 and just go for that little Spider-Man there, and I'd be happy with it. There are people that say, look, I want the one that's the harder one to get. So for that niche market, key books like this, I think the newsstands are probably worth it. overall, your semi keys, your commons, no. Movie leaves, this goes down in price a bit. And I see 9.8's fair market value 2660, and it just sold for 2275. So it's already selling for $385 less than fair market value. That's going to go down to a little bit more. That's going to go under 2000 after the movie leaves the movie theater. So if you really need one, hold off on that. Next on the list, we've got the Blood Hunts. Issue number 1 in 25 is back on the list. The severed head of uh, Thor, Crime Suspense Storage number 22. Let's see, but this one, oh boy, the prices have come down on this. 9.8s were selling in May. These were pre-sales because this book only came out in May. But people were paying $600 for pre-sales of a 9.8. Last sale, $275. More than half the price has already come off of this. There were well over $300 for Near Mint Plus Raws, now at $195. I still don't have an answer for the 1 in 25 for the red bands. If you qualified to get the red band 1 in 25 by buying any copy of the Blood Hunt number 1, or you had to buy 25 copies of the red band edition to get a red band 1 in 25. I don't know the answer to that. I think it's the latter. I think you had to buy 25 copies of the red band version, and then your store was eligible to buy one copy of the 1 in 25. So this may be a pretty hard print. But people seeing prices drop this much are going to back off and wait for it to drop more. The lack of sales is going to force the sellers to have the price come down a little bit more. So I think this is going to come down to like 160. People are going to start snatching it up. It'll go back up to 170 because the market will start selling them. Then it might come back up to say 180, and then it'll go back down again. I would be looking in the long term for 150 to 160 for this book in a Near Mint Plus, or just straight up 210, 210 to 225 for a 9.8. I really do want to get that book in the 9.8. I love that cover. I think it's great. And I'm going to be, when I think it's a great price, I will make sure I let you guys know, but I just don't think we're there yet. Uncle Scrooge and the Infinity Dimes. Did we think we were going to see this book on this list this week? Wow. All right, this is the J. Scott Campbell 1 in 50, and no doubt that is some cool artwork. I do like that. I did not get the 1 in 50. This is the first appearance of the Scrooge Above All, cool name, and it's the first Marvel-style Disney adventure. So, and the way of putting it is the first time that Uncle Scrooge or a Disney character has appeared in a comic book that's published by Marvel. Okay, Disney owns Marvel, but they've always had the Disney publications, Dell, Whitman, all these other companies. This is the first time that a Disney character is being published by Marvel Publishing. And from what I've heard from people, and I haven't read mine yet, this is a good story too. So, that being said, though, I did see quite a bit of copies in the store. Now, this is already current trend down 10%, highest value pre-ordered in May for $100, but right now it's selling for 45, which is below ratio. So 1 in 50 selling for 45. So I think it's got more to come down. I don't want it to, but I think it does. It's a great cover. The book itself, the cover A, I think was $8, $7.99. Does that sound right to you guys? I have 2 copies of the cover A for myself. And see if I can zoom in on this thing and say, yes, it was $7.99. It was a pretty thick book. So usually the ratio variants are also around the same price, cover price. It doesn't mean your store's going to sell for that. Right. So it's a 1 in 50 stores, and there were a bunch of different copies. Come on, show more. There we go. So stores, if they wanted to get the 1 in 50, they could buy, say, 15 of the cover A and 5 of these and 10 of these, and just, the Frank Miller, the Gabriel Delato, the John Romita Jr., Scotty Young, which I got. It was a great Scotty Young cover, by the way. I loved it. Love this one. I think is that a Momoko? Yeah, so, like I said, when Scotty Young fills the entire thing and doesn't have a white background, I usually like his stuff. Yeah, you had a Peach Momoko cover. Ron Lim did a cover. Cool foil. This one kind of reminds me of the original type of artwork by Carl Barks. Um, a lot of great covers in this, and we may have a great story. So there's a chance this could go back up again just by word of mouth. If you can get a 1 in 50 of a J. Scott Campbell of a book that does turn out to be a milestone, you might be looking back and saying that $45 was, for a near mint was a good price. So I'm not going to advise against this one at this time. It may come down a little bit more, but I don't think it's going to tank too much. Da, 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 da. And finishing off the 11 through 20 honorable mentions, we have Spider Woman, number 7, Peach Momoko, second print, Virgin, 1 in 25. That's a mouthful. And this was the first team appearance of the Assembly. Remember that was up a few weeks ago, uh, which was Titan, Cadets, Cadet Marvel, Moonsquire, Liberty, and Hellrune. And let's see, what do we got going here for prices? Highest known value at 115, most recent sale at 84. The cover A first print has already come down a bit in price. I think that when this first came out and started selling so quickly, I think stores probably ordered a bunch of these for second prints, and especially like things like the Momoko, which look good, which gave them the option of getting one or two each store of the Virgin on average. Some stores didn't. I'm sure some places that deal like Midtown Comics probably has 50 copies of this. They deal with so many. So on average, I'm going to say this comes out to about 2 per store. We got 2,200 stores in the country making 4,500 copies of this, and that's not that rare. And I think that the interest in it has also died down since the orders. So I think this is going to come down a lot. The 1 in 25, $84. No, I see this at 40. I think it's going to lose half its value in the next 6 months. It's the first appearance of a team. We don't even know if the team's going to be anything worthwhile. So we're going to take a quick little 30-second break so I can say thank you to all the team members, whether you're on Patreon supporting the channel or if you are joining right here on YouTube. And if you'd like to help support the channel for only $3 a month, you can go to Patreon/TeamOhana or right here on YouTube and join. It just helps offset the cost of the like picking up some of the books and shipping for New Comic Book Day when we give away books, or if you choose the cash, that helps pay for the cash. And someday I might actually start breaking even and not losing money. I don't mind losing money. We're having fun, and everybody pays to have some fun. I pay to have some fun. You might actually be helping pay for the dog. In the meantime, though, I want to say thank you to those people that have joined with this special little banner. All right, let's jump right into this top 10 right off the bat, shall we? We have, boom, Penthouse Comics, the number 3, 1 in 10, sorry, polybagged. And it's funny, I have the polybagged issues 1 and 2, and I didn't order number 3. I wouldn't have got the 1 in 10 anyway. However, I have seen this art. This artwork is killer, man. It's really, really great. Yes, it does need to be polybagged, no doubt. But this is a killer cover. And 1 in 10, and it's selling for 15. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. If you can find a place that sells that for 15, I don't think that's a bad thing to get. Now, I have not been reading the Penthouse. I have a couple of the polybag. I bought those solely for collectability. If anybody else has read the Penthouse comics, I'd love it if you could just drop a comment down below, not just for me, but for everybody. How are they? Are they good stories? I haven't heard anybody talking about them. Like I said, the $15 though for that really cool cover for a 1 in 10, that's not bad. Number 9, we have Wolverine issue number 1, the Frank Miller run from 1982. Awesome, iconic art. Reading wise, it didn't stand up to the test of time. Greg and I found that out when we used to do the uh, back issue book club. But it is the first solo Wolverine title. It predates the Marvel Comics Presents and the Wolverine series, and it is the first cameo of Yukio. This what's on the list is the direct sale edition. God, he said like 35 copies of this. I wish. Now, 9.9s continue to drop. We've got 9.9 that just sold for $78.69. If that sounds like a lot, it was 23,000 in 2023. And there've been a few sales since then, like 15, 11, 11, now down to 7. Oh, just under 8. So from more than 1,000 under fair market value. 9.8s are selling for 6, last one 665, 9.6 256. Yeah, anything over 9.2 225, 9.4 245, 9.6 256. Anything over 9.2, you're going to be over $200. It's only when you start to hit those real premium numbers like 9.8 and 9.9 that you see the significant turn up in price. And collectors are willing to pay that because they love this book. High grade near mint plus raws, 387. 387 is a 9.6 to a 10. So if you're really, really great at grading and you can pick up a book and say, this is a 9.8, it doesn't pay to buy the high grade raw. Okay, because if you get the 9.6, you've automatically just lost 1/3 of the price you just paid. If you know it's going to be a 9.8, then and you can get it graded, you've just almost doubled your money. That's fine. If you just want to get a really, really high grade raw and you don't care whether it's a 9.6 or a 9.8, my recommendation is buy a 9.6 and crack it. Okay, you'll have that in beautiful condition, 9 points near mint plus book for more than $100 less. Put the money in your wallet. That gets you another comic book. I mean, if you want, you can take the extra $100 and just go out and buy yourself a low grade, very good, just sold for $31. Just so you can read it. Anyway, this is a book right now that is spiking solely because of the movie, but it always has value. So it's one of those, it doesn't go up and then come right back down. It goes up for a spike and then comes down a little bit. Then it goes up for a spike, then comes down a little bit, but it does retain a portion of the value with each one of the spikes. So that's a great thing about this book. I just don't think that right now is the best time. I would wait for that little dip after the movie if you want to grab one. And there is a newsstand version of this as well. So, which 1982 newsstands were more prevalent, but again, harder to find in those pristine, higher condition books. Oof. So great book, though. Hulk, issue number 1, first appearance of Red Hulk. Now, if I'm not mistaken, this first appearance of this Red Hulk, he's only on the cover. He actually doesn't appear in the comic until like issue number 4 or something. I haven't read it. I'm going by what people told me. That being said, there's another version of this book. It is the Ed McGuinness 1 in 50. Oh, the here. Well, it's got the green question mark. Whether it's the Ed McGuinness, the Hero Initiative Comic-Con, Atomic Comic-Con, that's the one, limited to 5,000, or the Ed McGuinness 1 in 50. If you see that question mark, either way, you're doing better than just the regular raw. So don't feel bad. If you see a question mark and you're not sure which one it is, if you're getting it for the price of the regular cover A, you're doing fine. So this being said, we know we're getting the Red Hulk portrayed by Harrison Ford in the new Captain America movie. And I don't know how much he's going to be in it. Maybe he's just going to be in credits. I don't know. But we're starting to get a little bit of hype towards that movie because once we're almost on top of the Deadpool, people start looking at, well, what's the next thing I need to invest in? There will be a little bit of a lull, but as soon as that trailer hits, if we see Red Hulk, that's it. We got 9.8 selling for 300. So this book has gone way up and then way down, and it's working its way back up again. 2021, this was hitting 600, so it's about half that value. Near mint plus on the raw side is selling for about 90. 9.6 is selling for 145, slightly less than 9.8. That's about right in my books. But I I've seen this book roller coaster so much. I'm afraid to recommend it to people. I still personally think that if you got extra money to invest, your safer bet is to go Golden Age or Silver Age keys. A lot of people love Red Hulk though. It's not a bad character. I think it's gonna be fun on the screen when we see him. 9.8 then at this time probably would not be the worst idea. I'd be shooting for more like a 270 price, trying to get it below fair market value instead of above it, or a Nearman Plus for around the $80 mark. But if I was that great at picking up raws and saying this is 9.8, then pre-screen wouldn't send me back so many books. Next on the list, we have a DC book staying on this list. Thank you, thank you. The Authority from number one from 1999. And again, this is old James Gunn. Wait, did somebody tell me we're getting a TV show about this? I believe so. Whether it was Amazon, Netflix, or HBO, I couldn't tell you. But I think we're going to get a TV show about this. But anyway, fair market value, though, is 221 for a 9.8, and the last one just sold for 164. 9.6, 111, just sold for 91. Nearmint Raws, Nearmint Plus 40, Nearmint Regular 35. So, and a very fine just sold for 54. Go figure that one out. No, I don't want the higher quality one. I want the lower quality one for more money. Doy. Anyway, all you need is somebody to buy a book without knowing what it's worth and just use a lot of these numbers. If this is on its way down and we know we're getting stuff in the future, and I know that Gunn likes this group, if he's truly in charge, he may be able to pull some more strings to get this back in. This might spike up again if we get any kind of leaked news. 9.8 sold about a year and a half ago for 725, and now it's selling for 164. That's not a bad buy. I gotta say, that's not a bad buy. If you can get that 165 range for a 9.8, you're not going to get it much cheaper. That's doing pretty good for a 25-year-old book. Boy, really giving a high recommendation on a DC. All right, Doom number one, the cover A. Let's see, I've got 2 copies out to what do you call it? Pre-screen right now. It's in my pre-screen a lot. See if I get a little lucky. But I had 4 copies. I put 2 copies in the Patreon get together pull box. And we got together on Friday. And Stinker Buns pulls out 70 mLs per hour number 1. Dear Editor number 1. And he pulled one of the Dooms. So cool. There's still another one in there. But yeah, it's $3 a month. And what did he pull out this month in free books? I'm telling you, it's definitely the more people that join, the more books I give away. It's a never-ending spiral. I'm never gonna make money. I don't care. I have too much fun. And when I purchased those books, yes, you're a wiener. I went and I purchased those books specifically to put into that box. That was cool. I didn't get them at cover price. I think I got them for like 20 each when they were going up. I had one cover A from my pull box, and I couldn't get a second one. I saw somebody else that had 3 of them for 60. I'm like, I'll take all 3. I'll keep one for myself. So I've got 2, and I put 2 in the pull box. So let's see what happens. But anyway, getting back to the price on this, 9.8s were selling as early as soon as 10 days ago at 200. Now I'm seeing 9.8 selling for 140. The people are getting them back from CCC. It's starting to come down. But the high grade raws are now hitting 35 and 40, which they're still inching up a little bit on those high grade raws. If the high grade raws, they're drying up a little bit because people said, sorry, tired, are sending them in. And as they get them back, I think the 9.8 slab price is going to come down, but the raw is going to go up a little bit. I just wish this was a better book to have signed by whoever will wind up playing Dr. Doom. I mean, maybe something yellow right here across his crotch. But other than that, there's too many other colors here that this doesn't lend itself to a great signing. Maybe right down here at his feet, that could work too. But yeah, but let's just say you find out who's going to play Doom and they have a CGC signing event. That'd be a great book to have signed. So anyway, the original Marvel super villains Doom would be even better, and you can get away with a lower grade on that. Um, I think this is still a decent time to pick up a cover A. I think the A's raw are going to go slightly up still, but I think the 9.8s, if you want to buy a slab book, wait till it hits more like 110, 115. It shouldn't be too long. Give it about 5 weeks. All right, we are coming into the top four. Okay. Lady Deadpool, number one from 2010. Because we got the Deadpool, we have a Lady Deadpool, which we're still all hoping that what's his face, his wife is going to play her, Ryan Reynolds' wife. Anyway, we don't know. Some people are still hoping it's going to be a Taylor Swift and everything is a big lie. We don't know. Whatever it is, as soon as the movie's over, it's going to be just like She Venom. The book is going to go down in price. So we have 9.8s in 2023, hit 336. Right now they're selling at 275, but the fair market value at 207. So this went way down and it's selling above fair market value. But a near mint 9.0, 9.4 raws are selling for 26. Yeah, 9.6 is 125, 98. I'm sorry. I don't see this book being, I don't see this as a 9.8 even being $100 in 6 months. I think this is probably going to be more like $90 in 6 months. So unless it's a character that will stay with the MCU, which I highly doubt, your best chance would be if this does turn out to be an actress, Blake Lively. There we go. That you can get to sign it. And if it's Taylor Swift, you're never going to get her to sign the book. She doesn't do signings. I don't think Blake Lively will either. If there is an actress that does do signings, you can get that signed. That would be kind of a cool book. Other than that, this is one of those books you buy, and 3 years from now, you go through your collection and you look at it and go, why did I buy this? Trust me, I got boxes of those. All right, number 3. And I closed that one again like a ding dong. Oh my goodness. Number 3, we have New Mutants, number 1. Now, the direct sale edition. That's what got me messed up before when I saw the prices. So we have now $4,050 was the high water mark in 2021 for a 9.8. And it's saying the last sale was 1,100. Now that's going to be reported sales through like eBay or My Comic Shop and stuff like that. If you go on Instagram, if you're a comic follower, you know that there is Elite 11 and they constantly put up deals of the day and they have their own auctions. I think one's running right now. Yesterday, and it sold quick. It was a direct sale, 9.8, first appearance of Deadpool, $9.95 shipped. Okay, it got claimed quickly, but that's what it sold at. So under 1,000 for a 9.8. We're going to be at that point where you'll find those a little bit more commonly. And now that, if somebody like Elite 11 sold it, everybody's looking for that price now. Okay. And you're going to somebody goes to a show and sees 1,100. That doesn't look like the bargain. It's not going to get snapped up. Somebody's selling it for 1,100. Somebody's questioning, like, it's $1,100. How come it's not selling? Because somebody else just saw it sell for under 1,000. Now yours doesn't seem like a bargain anymore. $455 for a near mint plus. So that also shows you that if you got a book that, if your grading is good, you knew it was a 9.8, you can get it for $455. Why are you going to spend $1,100? So when this movie leaves after a couple months, see, I don't know if Daredevil has a future in the MCU. I just don't know. I don't see him being a centerpiece of the MCU. I see him being one of those characters that pops in from time to time. Like, what are you doing here? Kind of like what Hugh Jackman just seemed to be in, like, every at least have a cameo in every movie. Um, I think in a couple of months we're going to be seeing this at 900 for a 9.8. For bargain price is going to be more like 875. So I would hold off on this. And I again, this a book I never got in my collection. Always wanted, just never pull a trigger on. Yeah, yeah. Wolverine number 88, direct edition here. The first meeting of Wolverine and Deadpool and the first battle. I think this is has always been such an overpriced book. We're probably going to see this pose very specifically in the movie. Would help if I did that. Sorry, guys. How long has that been off? Anyway, the this is a I think we're going to see this pose very specifically in the movie, and it'll have a spike at that point, and then it's going to come down. 355. It's already on the way down. Look at this fair market value of a 9.8, 393. Last sale 355, 9.6. Fair market 172. Last sale 143. People are selling these books and getting them out of their inventory. Nearmint Plus fair market value for a roll 114. Last sale 100. So I think that the trailer hits and we've already peaked and we're starting to see way down. We have a 2024 facsimile coming out as well, and we have a 1 in 25 facsimile variant. Why? Anyway, what does that variant look like? Oh, it's Wolverine holding up Deadpool, and that art looks horrible. Oh my god. Yarden after Kubert. I don't like it. David Yarden's no, don't like it at all. Uh, I never thought this book was worth it. 1994, they were printing things like crazy, just because it's the meeting of two characters. I know it's people want to have that book in their collection. I just don't think it's. I'd rather spend $300 on something else. $355. You realize the books that I could get with that? Come on, I can get myself a nice mid-grade first appearance of Silver Surfer. Well, not first appearance. Maybe I was thinking of issue number 50, the brown cover. Johnny Goes to College. There you go. You're looking at like a 5.0 of that. Is that supposed to be an error or just Frank Miller's new style? Uh I don't know. I'll be honest. I thought as soon as I saw it that was Frank Miller's art. So I'm on board with you. I see what you're talking about. Um, yeah, that is kind of like what he would do. But this is David Yarden, and this is going to be the 1 in 25 facsimile variant. It says pre-sale, but it's actually coming out this week. So coming soon to a newsstand near you or a comic store near you. For $300, I could get higher grade All-Star Western number 10. Oh yeah. I mean, there's so many books that you can get and put into your collection. And I'll try to make sure I remember to go back that in the $300 range. Um, I mean, I got a shock suspense stories for around the $300 range, and in a 5.5 white page, and it's actually it's right here. Let me just grab it for you. Yeah, I think it was a little over $300, but it's a shock suspense stories, 5.5 white page. And this is the original 1954 cover. Back cover looks really nice too. And what really makes this one cool is this is the only story that Frank Frazetta did for EC. So the creator of Vampirella, this was the only story that he did for this company, not just for this series. And really great artwork on the cover too. So pre-code horror, mid-grade, or Wolverine and Deadpool meet each other for the first time. I'm going here. I got to be very careful. I got my nice contribution list for comics curing cancer down next to me. I don't want to accidentally put that in. Well, I'm sure that they would appreciate it if I did, but I got to keep some books for myself, you know? Okay, back to the list. We've got to come up to the number one on the list, Uncle Scrooge and the Infinity Dime, coming at number one for the 1 in 10 Gabriel Dell'Otto. Another really cool cover here. Some good covers on this, though. Yeah, crime suspense stories. Actually, I got the shock suspense stories, but either one, they're great. um, I would love to get the entire shock suspense stories run. I think it's like 18 issues or 16 issues, but one of them, issue number 6. Yeah, that one's the tough one. That's the Sodi book, and that's the one like even horrible condition. You look at it, almost 2 grand. So unless I get lucky to garage sale, I'm not putting that list together. Anyway, the Uncle Scrooge and the Infinity Dime, number one, the 1 in 10 variants. Gabriel Dell'Otto, really cool looking cover on this. But what's really interesting is, like I said, this is an $8 cover price. This is the 1 in 10, and it is not even selling for ratio. Okay, last one for a near mint was for $9. So, but highest known sale was back in April. It pre-sold for 28. It's now selling for 9. If $9, you're not going. Oh, I never noticed this down here. It tells you what the cover price is, $7.99. So you're getting a 1 in 10 variant for $1 over cover price. I can't even see it dropping any more than that, especially after hitting number one on the list. Just the fact that it hit number one on this list is going to cause it to spike a little bit in price and then come back down in the long run. But all right, so what I have to do now is I have to give my gun to the head pick and rubber band to the butt. And what I mean by that is which book in this list is, in my opinion, for its price, the best investment. Even if I think all 20 are going to lose money in the next 6 months, which one will lose the least? Or if it has a chance to go up? Well, there's actually a couple here that I think are decent at their current price. Um, I think that Uncle Scrooge, the one in 25 that was here from JSC, has a chance. I think that Penthouse issue number 3 uh, ratio has a chance to go up. I would not be against going for the Daredevil 183 first Daredevil versus Punisher. I think that's a decent book. Offhand, I'm very tempted to pick the number one pick on this list, and that's 1 in 10 Uncle Scrooge, the Gabriel Dell'Otto, for less than ratio for only $9. But because I haven't completely given up on this book. Hey, how's it going? 25. Good to see you here, sir. Since I haven't completely given up, and if there is a movie or a series coming out, and as much as this book has dropped in price, I'm going to stick with my man Toxie and say a Toxic Avenger, number one, which I put on a Remember Me list a while back because it dropped, and it has still dropped. But a 9.8 from a 1991 book, if you're getting that for 104, that's not bad at all. And I think that if we do get a series or a movie, a legitimate one, not the one that goes to some film festival and then disappears, this book could go back up to its $250 to $300 range. So let's see where we are with that. Now I have to pick a rubber band to the butt pick. This is the one that I think that at current prices is the worst choice that can be made, and the highest potential for loss. So what I think will be the biggest loss. And there are a couple of choices on that too. I think you're gonna lose some money if you go with that $75 raw facsimile of a Spider-Man 257, the non-facsimile. The second printing 1 in 25 Spider-Woman number 7, I think it's not the best choice. But overall, worst investment that I think would be the Lady Deadpool #1. I'm sorry, in my opinion, this is still a dollar bin book, and there's no reason why Raw should be selling for 26 and 9.8 should be selling for 275. A new Toxic Avenger movie is going to be a major hit by word of mouth. Now, you're not talking about the movie that they made already that didn't get that got released only to the film festival with oh, who's the one that God, I can't think of, and I want to be politically correct. The vertically challenged actor who played in Game of Thrones, and he was uh, in Ragnarok, and I mean in Infinity War. Sorry, and oh, jeez, uh, let me see, Game of Thrones cast. It's because I'm so bad at actors' names. Peter Dinklage. Wow, it popped into my name before I could even find it. Okay. So Peter Dinklage was in he actually played the Toxic Avenger in a movie that got made last year, and it was hyped up for a lot of people. And then they wound up releasing it at a film festival, and then it just disappeared. I don't even think it made it to streaming. So, um, yes, is that the movie that you're talking about? Because that movie has already come out and then just disappeared. If they're making another one, then that's great. But I'm not aware of another one, and if they are, great. If they're but just I don't know if you're thinking of the one that's everybody was talking about coming out that actually already came out and then disappeared, and the market on this book went down quite a bit. Matter of fact, as I'm quickly talking, I'll take a quick look and see if I see anything. The Toxic Avenger. 1985 film, 84 film, 84, 2023 film that already came out. That's the one that has Dinklage. I don't see any news or anything about another movie coming out. So maybe it's been talked about and they haven't written articles about it, but okay, I'm back on this screen. Let's see what you said here. To be fair, Red Sonja was filmed in its entirety and still hasn't been released. The art house Toxic Avenger got really good reviews, but no distributor. Okay. And I think they did a Batwoman movie that was already like in the can and they decided not to release it and write it off as a, what do you call it? Tax write off. So I was looking forward to the Toxic Avenger movie. I still haven't seen it. So, I don't, so that is the movie that you were talking about. So I don't know. I think the buzz that was about it has already subsided. So I think they missed their window for releasing it. But if and if there ever is any type of release, if somehow people finding a way to stream it, if it starts becoming popular like Godzilla minus one did by word of mouth, this book can go up. Even still, the first appearance. I mean, well, it's not the first appearance. I think that's what it calls it. The oops, wrong one. The first origin and ongoing series of the Toxic Avenger. So there must have been something earlier than that. But if you can get a 9.8 for that, for might be under 100 if you strike a good deal. That's that's not bad for that book. So that's why that one's my pick. And for the rubber band to the butt is the Lady Deadpool. All right. So I'm going to wrap this up because I'm coming up on 1 hour, and I got to go check on the swollen leg wonder that is sleeping where on my spot, and then crack out a sleeping bag so I can hang out with him. Guys, I want to thank you. Ah, I just got here. Well, it will be available for replay in just a minute. I'm sorry. But I've just passed the 1 hour mark and I got to go take care of my Great Dane who has an infection in his leg. We had him at the vet today, and you can see his leg is all swollen up compared to this skinny skin and bones that he was on the opposite side. And just if I would have bought like a collar, I would have broke the $1,000 mark on the bill. That's how close. That's how much it was today. And I have a health plan for him. Yeesh. Yeah, yeah. He's right now. He's zonked out, so they had to sedate him for X-rays. Anyway, like I said, I want to thank you so much for joining. Don't forget to click like, subscribe. Let me know what you guys think about some of these books. And don't forget to join us on Wednesday for New Comic Book Day, where we give away books every single week. If you haven't registered for this week's giveaway, make sure you get to last Wednesday's replay of New Comic Book Day. Like, subscribe, and drop a comment. Keep it clean, keep it comics, and that gets you entered into the drawing. Okay, I see I've got one more comment. I'll check it to see how it is. I'll see you Wednesday, and I'll watch this. Awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And in the meantime, though, I am going to go take care of the puppy, and I will see you on Wednesday. Mahalo, everybody.